Coreldraw Chapter 2. Today we begin with nodes editing. We would like to learn about what are nodes. Now for example, I take a rectangle from here and in our work area I draw a rectangle. After drawing a rectangle, you see there are 8 nodes which are displayed. Now these nodes, when I click on the pick tool over here, what happens is I can only, with a double arrow on this particular point, it reduces my 3 sides. Similarly in center from top. So wherever my double arrow is, it tries to resize my particular shape, whatever is there. Now, like for example, I take this and I drag this a little up. Now when I click in center, now this is my center point. Once again, if I click, what happens is I get my rotation tools and skewing tools. So this particular option is for rotation. So when I click here, press and just drag it, I get the rotation tool. Now if I click in center over here, this is my vertical skewing, and here is my horizontal skewing, how I want to skew my object. So here the object acts according to whatever skewing points. Now this is your horizontal skewing and this is your vertical skewing. This is your horizontal skewing and this is your vertical skewing. So accordingly you can make changes in your object. Now what I do is I delete the object and I draw a circle over here. I just take circle. Now circle means when I keep the shift key pressed, when I'm drawing this, you see now this is an oval, but when I keep the shift key pressed along with the mouse button, then I get an exact circle. Okay, so if I want an exact circle, I have to keep the shift key pressed along with the mouse button. Okay. Now suppose I make this a little smaller and click here, I get the center point. I drag the center point down again, and what I do is I keep the mouse button pressed, just drag a little and then press the right click, and after that I press Ctrl D, duplicate. So you see my objects are surrounded with the center point wherever I am. I repeat again. I take another page. See, on my bar over here I have a second page. I click here on the second page. I say for example I take a rectangle, then I click here with the tool point, click here, center point, take the center point down, keep the mouse button pressed, and do not leave the mouse button until and unless your positioning is done. So you come here and then press the right click. So now my distancing of these two objects is considered, and then I press Ctrl D, duplicate. So according to my distancing, this object has been placed. Okay, I repeat once again. I select this all and I press the delete key. I take a rectangle, draw a rectangle, then I take the pick tool, click here and drag it down. Then I take my pointer over here, then I keep the mouse button pressed, drag it a bit, and then according to the positioning I right click. Okay, and then I press Ctrl D after that. So my objects are duplicated. Okay, now after these objects, okay, supposing you want to merge all these objects, so I have a shaping tool. When I select like this, draw, you see that in the property bar there are some options, shaping options available here. As I click here in weld, what happens it becomes like one object. Okay, now this object is one object, not many, so it is considered as one particular object. But you can even use the shape tool, this is called as a shape tool, to shape the object. Now supposing you want to shape it up, you see where you can shape this object here. You don't want this, you can delete. These are called as nodes. Now here, if you want to shape this object, you have this nodes available. The second option, which is known as shape node, the function key is F10, which can be used for shaping up the nodes. These points which you can see, these are called as nodes, wherein as you display the object, you get these nodes. Otherwise, the other way is I take say page number 3, and when I draw an object over here, I have to press Ctrl Q, convert to curve. Ctrl Q, or there is an option here which is convert to curves. Now once I convert to curves, you see I get my shape tool over here. So I click on my shape tool, I double click here. Now I have to consider which area or which particular line is not to be shaped. So you have to consider which area has to remain stiff. So I double click here, on this, and then I can shape this up. I again double click here and stretch this. Now what happens is I don't have the handles here, and I want to shape this up over here. So what I do is I click here on this, and I have this property bar over here which has various options to help me with the shaping object. So I click on convert to curves, select and shape it up. I again click on this node, convert to curves, and I shape it up like this. Okay. Again I click here, or I double click here, double click in center, drag this out, double click here and drag this out. I again click over here on this and convert this to curves and shape this up. Similarly here I double click here again, double click in center and stretch it out. Double click here on this and stretch it out. Now what I do is I take this node to shape it, because if I click here then these both options will be changing. So I have to click here and then I say curve, and then I use the handle to shape this up. Similarly I click here and use this handle to shape it up. So here, now I have not done it perfectly. You can spend a little more time and you can do it perfectly. Now here, this is one particular shape by the help of these curve tools. Now again I click on shape, I just complete this part, select. You see this is an option, this is to convert to line. If I click here, this particular node which is selected is converted to line. Back again I click on convert to curve, it is again converted, and then with the help of your handles you can shape this up however you want to. Okay. Similarly with the help of these handles you can make changes. Now as I said, supposing I want to break this particular object into two. So here I have a break curve option. When I say break curve, you can just scroll the middle button to have a little bigger zoom and see. Click here and just see this. Just click outside and take one node at a time. You see this particular node is, this object is separated now. I can again press Shift and F4 key to bring back to the normal page. Shift and F4 key for the normal page, or you can magnify a little more if you're not comfortable with a small drawing. Now here, small zoom. Now there are two ways, like I can select these two nodes and then I can say join, which joins at a particular point. I again press Ctrl Z, that is undo the command, and I select both these nodes and I press close curve, this option. When I say close curve, what happens is the points remain on the same position and then you get the nodes a line added to join the nodes. So there is a difference. When I say close curve, the objects lines drawn will remain at the same place, and it will just add up a line to connect to each other. In this case, it will just make it a join two nodes, like it tries to get the nodes wherever it is possible to connect it. I repeat again, I press Ctrl Z again, I select this nodes. When I use this option, see, you get the pointed part, Ctrl Z. When I use this option, close curve, you see it remains like this. So now this is my one object. How will we come to know? I have this colors, so many colors. Now this is one color palette. Say for example, I just click a red color, this is click or whatever color, magenta. Now these are the color palettes, but supposing if I want more color palettes, I am not satisfied with this color. Where do I click? There is an arrow below here to have my colors. Now this is a cross sign, or you can just click here on this arrow and get the colors, or you can go to window and you can say color palettes. You have so many color palettes, a very big list of color palettes which are available. Say supposing you want red, green, blue, you can just click on red, green, blue. You get a color palette for red, green, blue colors. You go to window, back again, you go to color palettes. You have so big list. Like say for example now I take phantom colors. These are the single colors. In the next lecture I will be showing you all how we can mix the colors and have the color combination done with the objects. Okay, so now these are the single colors. In the next lecture I will be teaching you all how to mix and play with the colors. Okay, thank you.